So hello everybody, this is Niall Sebastian Power Sieger from CIembassy.com, a website for ancestors communication. Yesterday night I did inform the family of Michael Robinson that I was in contact with him, and we produced some video material where the creator who have lived as the man, Michael Robinson, did show himself by triggering the wind and using the wind for communication purpose. And that's a video during daytime I'm gonna produce with him now. And please be advised, it's a very hot day. I'm gonna start to sweat, so I apologize for that. And the next thing is, I have a beer here to cool myself down a little bit, and I'm gonna enjoy the day. And hopefully I will reach Michael Robinson in a moment. With him it was planned to produce a video today, and in the last few weeks, that just as in general information, sometimes if I do practice universal communication, it is possible that I get disturbed. Hopefully that will not happen. So Michael Robinson can trigger the wind, use a high wind level. Please trigger the wind in the tree here behind me. And you can see for the people that wind waves reaching the tree here, he can use the crown and the down part of the tree to show himself and to communicate. That's a communication path we can use together. So he can reach me like that, communicate with me like that, and he do have other ways. So there are more communication methods he can use to reach me and to communicate with me, including sending signals to my human body. But this communication, of course, is difficult to make transparent. It is not impossible, but difficult, because I would need medical equipment here for that. And as you see, I do not have some here. So we're gonna show you that Michael Robinson is producing wind to communicate, and he wants to reach his family and his friends with the video material. And I'm gonna chill a little bit. I'm gonna relax. That's for the family and friends. I apologize for that. I have to produce some more videos today. Maybe I'm gonna produce more than one with him. I'm not sure about that. It's a very hot day, so I gotta see how everything is going. I'm gonna communicate with him now, and he can listen to what I'm saying, and he can understand everything, so he's intelligent and able to communicate. That's for the family and friends to understand that. It's like the same as if you would talk to a human, but the only difference is he do not have a human body anymore, and that's why he have to use the natural surrounding to show himself and to communicate. Using wind is one of the methods for that, and there are many others. This will be very complex to explain everything to you in one video. The website CIembassy.com, gonna inform about it in the future. I just started to build up the website, so that will take some time. I also apologize to the other viewers for that. The CI Embassy website will take some time actually. So Michael Robinson, I'm gonna speak to you now. You can show yourself clearly. Do you want to shake the crown one more time clearly to see for your family and friends here? Yes, and you could see now there's more wind in the crown. Here are two cameras placed. The one camera is this one. Okay, if you can't see on this camera, there is a second camera where you see the whole tree. One camera is to capture me a little bit better. The other camera is for Michael Robinson, that he is getting captured very good. And if you want to listen what he's answering, please let your eyes get used to watch the nature, to watch the plants we are using for communication purpose. And please let your eyes get used to watch the reactions. And the actions are going to communicate with him very transparent, and his reaction, which is possible, is that he can reply to that by using a higher wind level if he wants to say yes. If he wants me to ask another question or to specify my question, he can reduce the wind level. In that way he can also communicate a no. But please do not lose yourself there, because I'm gonna communicate with him now, and you can listen carefully to Michael Robinson. In between, please, when I do not ask you questions, please also reduce the wind level in between, so that I can request wind very specific, so that your family and friends can understand and are able to understand how specific you can communicate. and please only reply by wind to questions I do speak out. And for the family and friends, I say that because he's able to outread my thoughts as well. And for the family and friends, to the other people as well, I'm one of the human beings who's able to communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before. And it is very, very complex, as I said, so you find more information about that on ciambassy.com. So you want to start, right? That's clear for the family and friends. So that's Michael Robinson producing a lot of wind for you, and by doing that so specific, he's also identifying himself as he did it in the video yesterday. But we can repeat that in a few moments. And as I said, this video gonna be a little bit more relaxed. So because it's the beginning, I just came here to the Rheinauer. So it's the first video of today, and maybe there are gonna be other video material as well. With the one camera, I'm gonna show you where I am. I'm gonna show you the surrounding. And for that purpose, I'm gonna turn the camera around so that you see everything. We are here in Bonn, in the Rheinauer, which is a very, very huge park. And you see the post tower there in the other camera, and in one camera you see my face, and the other camera is getting turned right now. Later you will have a split screen view and a new normal view of the situation, that you do understand that better directly. So you will be able to watch the whole material in split screen, and you will be able to watch each part also in full screen. I will um, publish the video in that way that you see the material both ways, okay, that you are able to see all the details, because I'm sure for the family and friends, if you know universal communication is possible, and I'm not sure if you know that, that's gonna be a very happy day for you receiving all that video material. So, Michael Robinson, can you reduce the wind level to keep it a little bit more quiet for the moment? That is always very important, as I said, for the people which are watching the video, and for the family and friends. Maybe a lot of people are gonna see that, maybe also his friends, and maybe some of them do not know a lot of stuff about universal communication. So I will try to optimize with my communication with them always in between, that we get the optimum of video quality for all you guys, that you see it as clear and as specific as possible. And you can see it is a little bit more quiet now. And Michael Robinson, please reduce the wind level even more, that the tree's stopping to shake. So try to keep it as quiet as possible. That would be great. And I'm gonna give him a moment to keep it quiet. And Michael, please do not react to my thoughts. By the wind for a moment to keep it quiet first. And please do not react to what I say for a short moment until the tree is very quiet, and then we can show how specific it's working. So for the family and friends to understand that, I'm gonna communicate in details with them, and everything I speak out is necessary for you to understand it, and he have to react to what I speak out. But important is, for him it's also a difficult situation as a creator, because he can outread my thoughts and he can listen to what I say. And that is of course not always the same, because sometimes your thoughts are faster than what you are saying. But if he would react to my thoughts, it would confuse all you guys in front of the camera. So we have to be very specific. And me and him, we are just communicating the second day, actually, yesterday night and today. So we have to optimize the communication. It's the same situation as if you would get to know somebody, a human you did not know before. Then maybe you have to find out how that guy is communicating, how he's showing himself, and how he thinks and all that. So it's the same with him and me. Both of us have to optimize that a little bit. So as you can see, the tree is now very, very quiet. Michael Robinson produced a situation where he reduced the wind level extra for the family and friends to understand how specific the universal communication can be. And Michael, do you want to make more wind to identify yourself 100% sure you're the Michael Robinson, where I posted the video on your Facebook page, Michael Robinson? You have lived as a boxer as well, so you are doing some boxing stuff. that correct? Yes? So he's triggering the wind in the crown now for the family and friends to understand it. Can you trigger the wind down here as well? Always the crown and down here, because I got one camera capturing the whole tree and one camera capturing the down part. So both parts are very important. And you could see his clear reaction. More wind was canalized to the tree. So for the people which do not know much about ancestors communication, do not get confused. I try to my best to inform you here. So I'm not talking to the tree. I'm talking to the individual creature, Michael Robinson, who have lived as a man, and he can canalize the wind in the natural area where I am, in the natural surrounding where I am. And that's what he just showed to you. And he's keeping the tree now quiet again. That's perfect. That's my feedback, Michael Robinson. That's perfect if you do that in between. And to the family and friends, watch this. Do you want to say hi to your kids, to your wife, and to your family, like to your dad as well? Maybe I think it was your dad on the website. If yes, produce a lot of wind for your family and friends. And I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. And the family and friends, they just can watch that, because that's Michael Robinson showing himself damn clearly to you, to say hello to you. And I'm quiet for a moment. So for the people, I had to leave for a second, but I could see he was reacting clearly, and the wind was triggered from that direction. So it took a few seconds to reach the tree. Um, and for the family and friends, when I speak, he can agree by using a higher wind level, as I said, and he's agreeing on that during I speak by sending more wind to the crown. And Michael, can you produce some more wind down here? So can you canalize some wind to the down part of the tree as well, very specifically, so that the down part of this tree is starting to shake one time. That's very helpful always for the people which do not know universal communication, that they can see how specific you can canalize the wind. Are you ready? And if you're ready, please send me a signal. Just one moment. You will try now to trigger the wind on the down part of the tree, and then you will see more movement in the area here where my hand is also, and then you can see how specific that's working. Look at this. Can you see it? How specific it's working? So that's universal ancestors communication, and he's sending a wind wave to the whole tree. And the signal he did send me a short few seconds before he started was a signal through my human body. And I have learned as a human who's practicing ancestors communication to outread my own human body, to reflect inside my human body as a creature on a very high level, to identify universal communication, and to identify as best as possible creatures I'm communicating with. So it's very complex. I just want to explain you that part also, so that you understand everything. So, Michael, that was very great. Do you miss your family a lot? Like, do you miss a lot the option to talk to your kids, to talk to your wife, to talk to your father? The signal inside my human body was already a clear yes. And you can see on the down part, he's producing wind as a clear answer. Do you want to shake the crown for that? and now you can see the crown is receiving more wind, much more wind. Okay, and to the family and friends so far, sometimes it's difficult to capture universal communication on camera, but he's doing a good job. That's an information from me, the living human, who is practicing universal communication since a longer while. So I have a lot of experience in that field, and he's doing a good job to show himself clearly to you. Thank you from my side as well for that, Michael, because it's difficult sometimes for me as a human who wants to help the living family members and the creatures which have lived as human beings before, if they are not doing a good job by communicating very clear. And you are doing a very, very good job today. Thank you very much for that. Um, uh, yeah, okay. Here, I did communicate with him. I did ask him something by thoughts, so by my own thoughts. And what I did ask him, that's for the family and friends. Um, you guys, if you want a better identification on the maximum level you might need, okay, that's a service I can provide you for free. You can send me specific questions for him. He can answer with yes or no, and in that way you can get a clear identification as well, and we can produce some more video material for that. That's the first offer I can give you for free. And the second offer is, if you're ever in Germany, if I'm able to do universal communication during that time, you can contact me, or you can contact me before, and we can try to meet up. And he would show himself, and he's producing the clear wind to agree on what I'm saying for the family and friends. Okay, that you understand that. So, and then you would be able to communicate with him directly after I have explained to you the specific conditions which do exist that universal communication is possible, and after I have explained to you how the universal communication works in detail, and after you have learned to do that by yourself. So sorry for that, I'm drinking a beer and I'm smoking everything together because I have to relax a little bit. Universal communication is sometimes very stressful for me, the living human who's practicing it. So I apologize, but I'm enjoying a beautiful day, a beautiful moment I have in my day, because very often my day is packed with stress, mostly. So it's very stressful. So, and now the universal communication was working very well. That's why I told him thank you for that as well. And you can see he's happy for that. That's the next point. He can show feelings by using a higher wind level, or by triggering wind specific. And that's why, if the family and friends ever want to use that chance to try universal communication, to communicate them with Michael Robinson directly again, you guys can contact me if you want to, and then we can try it here in Bonn where I am. And then we have to go to a little moment where you guys maybe have to optimize your style of communication with him, and where he have to optimize his new communication way with you, so that you can understand everything, because it's not exactly the same as you would talk to a living human, but it's very close to that. So you can, for me as an individual human alive, if I communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before, they're individuals too. They're absolutely different. All of them are individuals. So it is very specific, but you guys do know him, so maybe that would be easier for you than for any others who did never know him. Okay, because you are the family and friends. So you received that offer from my side. You can contact siaembassy.com for that. Um, the best is, I always like that. If you want to do that, please send me an email, maybe with a short video from you guys where you explaining shortly what you want in that case, because there are many creators trying to reach their living families. So then I know, okay, they're talking about Michael Robinson, they want to meet up, or they have specific questions, and then I can reply to that. And in case of these specific questions, or if you want to meet him, the important stuff is you, Michael Robinson, have to reply to that as well. Yeah. And he's shaking the crown now clearly to agree on that for the people that you see that and understand that. Um, and you would come to a direct meeting, right? Yes, that's a clear way. Yes, you can see in the crown, he's clearly communicating he would then come to a direct meeting, for example, here in Bonn in the Rheinauer, um, to a meeting, to a direct meeting with his family members and with his friends in case they're ever in Germany. And then I could start to try to explain all the details to you about universal communication so that you would be able to learn to communicate with him, but maybe he would not be able to reach you all the time or everywhere because there's some things which are necessary, which have to come together, that creatures which have lived as human beings can communicate on a very clear level so that humans which are not used to universal communication can see and understand it. That's very important as information because I do, first of all, a lot of people maybe potentially do see this video, and the next thing is I do not know the level and the knowledge of the living family members from Michael Robinson. So I do not know if you do know anything about universal communication, if you have a family member who's maybe practicing that, and all that stuff is stuff I do not know at the moment. And that you understand it. If you ever would like to come to such a meeting, I would try to build up the contact with him for you guys. Then you could communicate with him directly after I explained everything. And then I would leave the place and I would be in the area, so maybe 500 meters away or something, that you have your privacy with Michael and that you can have a private talk with him. I hear a lot of wind. Do you want to make a wind wave that you would like to enjoy a private meeting with your family, your wife and your kids, right? And your father maybe? Yeah. And your mom is still alive too? Question? You can send me an impulse in the human body? No was the answer. Is that correct? Okay. That's the way I got it, okay? So for the family and friends, if I ask questions which are very important to me, the living humans, sometimes I do repeat the questions 2 or 3 times because there can be little misunderstandings in universal communication. That is possible, like you can misunderstand a living human as well. But because I did communicate with him also in the night and everything, I know that's Michael Robinson. He identified himself in that way, and he's agreeing on that one more time for you on the down part and in the crown as well, please. And you see that's a clear wind wave, and they're gonna come a clear wind wave as well, which is reaching the crown right now. Okay, so that's a very good video because he's being so specific and so clear. That's a good job you do. Serious. No. I have a lot of experience in universal communication, and some creatures, they're sometimes, if I ask a question, for example, an individual can be unsure how he or she wants to answer. And in that specific situations, for the people which later watch the video, it can be very difficult to understand the process of universal communication because then an individual creature can react less visual loud, let me say it like that, less visual clear, because in that way they can communicate too that they're unsure about something. And very often, if creatures which have lived as human beings before did not have the chance after they died to communicate with a living human before, then they're unsure also because we are producing videos here to reach the family and friends always. So sometimes they're unsure how the family and friends will see that. You guys live in America as far as I understood it. I do live here in Germany, in Europe. Ancestor communication was well known 1,000 years ago, and in the modern world, the most of the people, or a lot at least, they do not understand it anymore. They forgot their knowledge, they forgot their own roots. In the United States, the mentality is more that high lifestyle is something cool. I'm a living high king, so a high king alive, because of the universal communication and all that. And the people do understand everything about the high life, or at least a lot. They're interested in the topic and all that. In Germany, the situation is different, so you have different cultures and traditions. here in Europe it was practiced a long time ago, but because there are not so many humans which can practice that and make it transparent on a very high level, because of that a lot of people in countries where they do not practice it a lot, or where they're not so interested in that, they sometimes lose themselves because they're not interested, or because in speculations. And that's not what these videos are about. That's why I do document the universal communication for the family and friends always directly. Okay, that you understand that. So Michael, I'm gonna walk over there. There's another camera. Okay, I'm gonna turn that on now for you guys. Then you can see more the area. Just one moment, please. So that's another camera. Hanging here out with Michael Robinson. This camera I just turned off, just as an information for the family and friends. That's the area where I am. On this camera there's only a storage of 18 minutes, that you do understand that. Here this is some information for the people that we do universal communication, because there are people hanging here out, so they're hanging around here, that you understand that. And I will place the camera now, just one moment please. And hopefully then you can see everything even with another camera. If the storage is full, this camera will just switch off. Do not get irritated by that, but in that way we can show you even more. So I just turned on the other camera. So you have three cameras on right now. Later on you see three different camera views, because it's very important to understand the surrounding and to see everything for the people which are not used to universal communication, because then you can understand the whole area where I am and everything. So I'll keep going by drinking my beer, and I'm gonna keep going by smoking a little bit, because as I said, I want to enjoy the day a little bit as well, because I have a very stressful life normally. But now I'm happy for you, Michael, that the universal communication is working very well, just that you know that. Yeah. Now some people gonna walk through, do not get irritated by that, that's not a problem for me. Because on the other camera I just showed, we have flyers here and we have information laying out that the natural environment is used for ancestors communication. These people are gonna place themselves now under the tree. That's not even a problem for me, because I told them that here it's getting filled, okay? To Mike Robinson, in case they're gonna sit over there, do not get irritated by that. We just keep on going with the video. He's agreeing on that. And I just have to inform him so that he's not confused, and that he will not stop a good communication because of people hanging around, because he's using wind on a high level. So in case people get afraid, Michael, that you know, I'm responsible to answer to their questions, and that's why the flyers are there and the information. And I showed the information with the other camera. Hopefully the other camera is working well, because it's the first day I'm using it since a long while. What I showed you was written in German, and there it's written that this is peaceful ancestors communication, and natural forces are used for universal communication. Because of course it's people could get afraid, but there's no reason for it at this moment in time. For the family and friends, do not get irritated. Michael Robinson is using the system very peaceful so far to communicate with me, to show himself to you. But of course, the nature in general, and I'm just gonna keep it short there because then his children can watch all that, but the nature in general can be dangerous too and can be used dangerous as well from creatures which have lived as human beings before, because if you can produce wind, if you can trigger the wind level, you also can use it for not so nice reasons, let me say it like that. And that's the simple truth, and that's why the informations are here for the people which are walking by, in case somebody is getting afraid. Then they know, okay, we're gonna talk to the guy who's in front of the cameras, and then I have to reply to all their questions, which I would do them, just that you understand that better. And so far this video is very good. He knows now, okay, he can keep going with the universal communication, and in case the people do have any questions, I just told him it's my job to answer their questions. So you're gonna keep going with the universal communication like you did before, right? Using, being clear and showing yourself very good, you're gonna try that. And you can see he's using a little bit more wind in the crown now. The people even leaving, so can you be clear about it? Can you, yes, here on the down part it's very clear. And now in the crown you can see there's more movement, and now the wind wave is reaching the crown because he's answering so good and so specific. So Michael, if a video works out, your video is very good. I'm also happy as a human for the family and friends that they have a good chance to understand everything, that your kids get the good news, that their father maybe lost his human body, but is still existing as a creature, still able to communicate, and that they are not alone. That always makes me happy if I can help families with that. And you guys up there as creatures which have lived as human beings before. All right, good. Because of the wind, sometimes now a paper was flying over here. I'm gonna bring that away, that it's not disturbing me when I'm walking around, that you don't hear the noise the whole time. So for the people and friends to understand that, if I do not communicate for, let's say, for 5 minutes with him, I'm gonna leave the cameras on, and he can produce wind, or he can reduce the wind level, or if I do not communicate with him for a short moment, let's say for 3 or 4 5 minutes, because I need a break, it can be also possible that it's just natural wind. Yes or no? Yeah. Okay, let's do a short break then. Okay. Okay. Good. I leave the cameras on, so you guys do know them. It's the same moment. Everything is going, and later on you will have, because of my cell phone storage, I'm working with a memory card in there. This small SD cards, as they're called in Germany, and the storage is not very good. So you will have the video, the recording will have stopped maybe in between later. Just that you know. Just that you're informed. Funny situation, right? Yeah. So that can happen sometimes in between. For him, it might be funny. For me, not. It was a bee, and I like bees actually, but I have learned in my life that nature can be used for very good reasons for universal communication, or can be abused to go on my nerves. And that's the problem for the family and friends, that you understand it. What he's doing here, he's controlling the natural environment, and I'm doing peaceful communication with him. But of course, creatures which have lived as human beings before, so not him, other creatures, they also can use the natural environment to go on the nerves of these humans which are able to practice universal communication, because they can reach them. And for that, for that purpose, they can use everything which is nature. So or even animal bodies, plant bodies, human bodies, all that stuff. But that's very complex. Maybe you'll find later on some more informations about that stuff on siaembassy.com. It's the same as Michael Robinson during a peaceful communication is sending me a signal to my human body. In the same way, he would be able to guide animals. Michael, do you want to agree on that? Can you agree on that, that you would be able to guide an animal body by what I call soft touch, so by an input and by controlling a biological body? Yes or no? Make it clear one time to your family and friends, that would be great. Make it clear in the crown as well. Down part here, they see wind is reaching the place. But can you shake the crown one time to make that clear? So he will reply now, and you see that more wind is in the crown part. Can you, like in the, yeah, on the high level in the crown, can you produce some more wind there? That would be great. So then it would be a little bit more clear. And he's gonna send a wind wave right now. There it is coming. Good. So that's a clear answer. So with him, I do have peaceful communication, but for example, I do know also other creatures which have lived as human beings before, and they can use animals to go on my nerves. For example, they can use a fly to fly around my human body for a while and stuff like that. And after a while, me as a human, I'm getting stressed. But here I have a beautiful day so far. With Michael Robinson, everything is all right. That's okay. You had some friends which were smoking weed? Yes or no? Yeah, right? Yeah. So for the family and friends, normally there's THC in weed, right? Which makes you like bring you in the high position that you're very, very relaxed and that you get a little bit tired. You see me here smoking a J, so a joint, without THC. It's but still, the weed is relaxing to the muscle system and everything. So you can buy with THC and without it. With THC, it's illegal in Germany, but I also smoke even that sometimes. But if I do universal communication, I use the other one because you have the same taste, tastes good, and it's relaxing to the human body, to the muscle system, but it's not making me tired. I'm not too chilled out to be focused and concentrated. Just for the people to understand that, if young people watching the video, maybe you think that you might be interested in that. If you smoke weed, and some of the people get lazy if they smoke too much weed with THC. So with THC is illegal in Germany. Um, but I do smoke that also sometimes. But very often I use the other one without THC, without a high THC level, um, during, for example, the production of videos, or when I do universal communication, because you have to be very focused, very concentrated. If I communicate with Michael, for example, I'm making everything transparent for you. I have to watch the cameras that they're capturing me, that they're capturing the moment. I have to watch the reaction, because Michael is communicating like that with me, like with the wind, like you have seen it, and with signals in my human body. And I'm communicating with you guys. So it's very, very complex, and that's why it can be stressful. Even if Michael do not mean it mean, it is a little bit stressful very often to do universal communication. That video with him was very relaxed. That's why I'm so thankful. I'm willing to help him anyway, even if it is stressful. But of course, if the communication is working very well, it is a lot more relaxed to me, even with all the stuff I have to do. Uh, it's much more relaxed. Thanks for that. That's why I said thanks as well, because then I can enjoy the day And if the universal communication is working, but not very good, and if there's a creature who wants to reach the family, the living family members, and they're sad because they think the creature is not existing anymore, or stuff like that, then of course I'm a human, I have a heart, I want to help them. Okay, so I'm trying my best then, but if the communication is not working very well, it's much more stressful than in such a situation where the universal communication is working so good as with you, with your guy here. And you have been a boxer, that was correct, right? Yeah. The down part is receiving more wind. Please do not forget the crown. And I see a wind wave reaching the crown now. Yeah, that's him again. Okay, the reply stuff. And maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe that do help you during the universal communication, because if you do boxing, you know technique is important. Okay, you know to be specific is important. So you learned a lot of skills which you can use in a lot of different fields in lifetime. And now even in your high afterlife, right? Yeah. And you see a specific yes in the down part of the tree, which is captured by both cameras. And the one camera is focusing on the whole tree, the other is just focusing on the down part. And now you see the reaction in the crown as well. Okay, for the family and friends. You can see how big this tree is, right? Um, I'm here in the Rhine now, as I explained, and Michael can agree on that stuff. We could walk around, right? I can walk around in any park on planet Earth in a natural environment, and I will be able to communicate with you on a day where our communication is working very well, right? Where we optimize ourselves and everything. And you see here, down here, there's a lot of wind. He's agreeing to that. Do you want to send another wind wave to the crown to agree to that? So then your family and friends and the people which watch the videos do have that specific yes doubled. So then they have two yes in the down part here and in the crown. And now you see his reaction in the crown so clearly and so specific. Okay? So we could walk, for example, where was it where you guys were living? Memphis, right? I think it was Memphis. Yeah, some of the people living in Memphis from before. Yes, yes. So we could walk to a park in Memphis, for example, and then he could do the same on any tree we as living humans, so me and his family, for example, would pass by. And the rest is to optimize the communication them a little bit further, because then you walking through the natural environment, and it is for him then he have to be even more specific than he is right now, because then we as humans we would walk to an area, to a park, to a forest, whatever, and he always have to walk with us with the reactions he wants to show you, them, the family and friends, for example, or his friends or the public or whoever. Okay, so he's agreeing on that by a strong wind wave for the family and friends to understand that. So that's very great. In that way, he's helping his friends, also the young fellows, maybe to understand universal communication better. That's very good. I like that. Can I put it on the website? It's a very good video. That would be great. Can I put it on my website? The website is there to inform humans about universal communication that they can learn from interaction. Yes? Okay. Can you be a little bit more clear in the crown? Is yes was the right answer? Here, down here, it's a yes. And I can see the wind wave is gonna reach the crown now. I'm gonna show that to the people 1 second. I'm gonna move the one camera a little bit for a short moment. See, there's another tree. Okay, and now the wind wave reached that crown. That you understand that. Okay. I'm gonna place the other cameras, because as I told you, I did turn on another camera. So I'm gonna place it somewhere else. Maybe you see them that area also. So I'm gonna replace this camera. That's too sad. That's the other camera, and it's telling me there's a SD card error. I'm gonna show it hopefully. See, that's why that's producing the sound. As I said, I did not use it for a long while, so at home I have to check what's going on there. I'm gonna place one of the other cameras a little bit different. One of these cameras. I'm gonna place it over here. Sorry. Then maybe your family and friends can see that as well here. This part of the park. So great, yes. So let's try if we can do it like this. So I replaced the other camera now a bit, and then you can see the other tree as well. I'm trying to show as much as possible, but I'm not a rich man, so I have two cell phone cameras, and I thought this Hero 4 would work at the moment, but it's not working. That's the GoPro camera actually. It's not working because of an SD card error. Maybe the SD card was already full, that is potentially possible, or I have to check it. I just ordered a new SD card because a very small one was in here anyway. I apologize for that. I just thought maybe it would work. That's why I told you directly I'm going to try that. And now you can see the other tree as well. And then you can see when he's saying yes to something, then if I request it, he will produce wind now. To show it to you, please, to Michael Robinson. And then you can see that he's producing wind, and you can see in the background now that this tree is starting to shake as well, and then the yes reaction is reaching this tree. But even with this tree in the view, you can see how specific that communication is. So that's important for you guys to understand that, and very great that you show it to the people and to your friends, and it's a very good relaxed video so far. So for the family and friends, so in case you want to send some questions for him, you can do that, and then I could produce a further video with him, and he could reply to these questions by the same method if we can catch us very well each other in the communication on that day then. So in that way, you could already start to communicate with him more if you want to the family and friends, and you can send the questions you do have with the specification who you are and who you want to communicate with, please, to ciembassy.com. As I said, the website is not totally ready yet. I just started to build that up, but the contact thing should work already. And later on you will find my phone number there and stuff like that. So that's how you can contact me, how you can send questions, and then I can produce a further video with him to reply to your questions, that you get it good and then you get it right. Michael Robinson, you can agree, right? You would try them to answer the questions of your family and friends in case they have any very important questions for you. Is that correct? And now the people can see in this tree, for the other camera, you can see he's starting to produce wind because he wants to answer with yes, and he's gonna send the wind wave now to the crown, and now you see the yes at the crown, and in the down part of the tree you could see it even before. So and that's how specific the communication is working. So he could even do that with many trees. Yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna turn this camera around now for you guys to show you something. Here, there you see a forest, and I have to optimize my communication for that with Michael Robinson for a moment, because we have to give him a fair chance. Michael, can you produce some more wind waves there? And now the people see clearly that you started already. Can you shake that a little bit? And hopefully the camera is capturing it good. If you watch the crowns closely, he's producing now more wind, and that's why they do start to shake. When I turned the camera, you can go back by going back in the video. You could see they were more quiet, and now he's also in the area over here. He's shaking the crowns more. Hopefully the camera can capture it. I'm gonna hold my hands here, and you can see there is a much higher wind level now than there was before. And that's also your Michael. And as you can see, you can even use a huge area like this one to produce wind and to react. That's a small forest here in the Rhine. So we could walk through that little area there. There's a little way, but it's on the other part of the lake. And in that way, he could communicate through the whole forest with you if you guys hang out with somebody who's able to practice universal communication with creatures who have lived as human beings before. And thank you very much, Michael, for that demonstration. And I'm looking at this crown now, and you can see and now he's producing another wind wave for you, okay? And that's why it's shaking more. So it's a clear and good demonstration. Watch that also. See, it's a clear wind wave, which he's using in that part, and a clear wind wave in that part where I was showing my finger before. Okay, for the family and friends to understand that system as best as possible. I'm gonna show you the area again. So that's where I was trying to place the other camera before. Here's some animals. This is the place we just used. And I'm gonna turn around one time. That's the tree we used the whole time. That's the other tree. And that's the second camera over here, okay? So I'm gonna place the camera again. It's a very good relaxed video, but of course, if I want to make everything transparent to the family and friends so that they receive the best help I can provide, because I'm just one part of the video, and Michael is doing his best as well. By the way, now some people are gonna sit in the background where the tree is. Hopefully that's not disturbing Michael. He knows if they have any questions, they just can come to me and they just can ask me, and I will reply to their questions, just that you know. To Michael, do not get irritated because I'm used to being in public, right? So that's not a problem, just that you know. And if they have questions, I'm just going to reply. It's an easy video anyway. And for the family and friends, I'm going to publish the video. And on these things which are laying out here, it's clearly written that it's getting filmed in the area, in the whole area. So it's nothing where they can complain later. That's always very important because it's a public park, so you're allowed to film. But you just, if you film, the people should know it, and here they have the clear chance to inform themselves because the information is laying around, so that you understand it. Sometimes just a story from the past has nothing to do with Michael. Sometimes some people do that. They walk in the middle of the picture, they see that there's somebody filming anything, they do not know what it is, and then they do complain. And I don't really like that, of course, because it's a lot of effort to do that. You see I'm running around, I'm trying to show you everything, replacing the cameras that you can see everything and all that stuff. So there's a lot of effort from my side to help the living family members of many individual creatures to understand that their loved ones are still alive as creatures without a human body, and that they are still able to communicate. And it's so important because so much family members around the world are actually sad because they have lost some loved ones, and they are unable to practice universal communication with their loved ones. And there are not too many people, I think, which are able to demonstrate it with other creatures on a very high level and to help creatures which have lost their human body. So I'm spending my days with that, and then it's I get a little bit upset if somebody runs into a video he sees before that there's a video uh, produced, or a video is getting produced, and then they are complaining. And that's why the information are laying out here, and hopefully that will not happen. If they have any other questions, I just will answer them. So Michael, you just can keep going. They're sitting there under the tree. I'm not sure you can see that a little bit. They're sitting over here. I'm gonna show it to you there. So they're gonna feel the wind on their skin, and that's also important for the family and friends. Of course, this video is a good video because the material is very good. It's very clear, very specific for you to understand it. But if you would be here, you could feel the wind on the skin, right? I have no hair on my head at the moment, so I can feel the wind always on my head as soon as he's communicating in the area, and he can even reach me like that. Just that you know. He's agreeing on that by triggering the wind in the down part of the tree. And do you want to use the crown as well? Yes or no? Yes, you want to use the crown as well, as far as I understood it. There you see a little wind. And now you see that he's producing wind in the area over here. And he's gonna canalize the wind from here, from that area, to the crown, and then the crown will shake more. And now you see that little wind wave reaching that place, right? So do not worry about the people which are sitting there. Be clear, it's so important. They have family members as well up there, that's what I'm sure. So if they have questions, I will answer them, and then maybe I can help them as well directly here, because I'm here today. It's that simple, in case I can reach their family members, just that, you know. So it's very important to be specific, and it is a very good video because Michael have been so specific so far, and he's specific on the down part of the tree, as you can see. So he's clearly triggering the wind, and now the crown is also shaking. So that's great. I'm gonna keep on drinking my beer. Just a moment. Michael, do you want to show it to the people? Yes or no? Okay, we can try that later. Yeah, okay, because it's working very well with you. So, and in that way, he's helping some young people in case they do understand it. If I try to inform people, because this is Germany, that's not the United States of America, where all the people are um, actually like the high life stuff and are interested in that field. Because of that, I easily come into a situation, if I try to explain what we are doing here, that some people do judge me as an idiot, but that's not what I am. I'm just a living high king and able to communicate with the ancestors. So we will try that to inform them and to show it to them how specific and clear that can work, right? I'm going out of the picture for a moment. Bitte, bitte. So, all right, I just informed them for the people which watching the video, the people which are sitting under the tree. I just informed them that we do practice universal communication over here, and that wind is used by, I said ancestors, but it's Michael Robinson, so he do not belong to my ancestors. And Michael is agreeing on that. I'm not sure if you guys could see it in the picture. Actually, I'm sure you could not see it because you can see that somebody's sitting inside there, but you cannot see the people. Can you agree on that clearly by triggering the wind in the area over here? And now you see the wind wave reaching this area and how clear and how specific he's reacting to the request. Okay? So a lot of people do not know in Germany that it's working. In this case, I'm not sure 100%, but these are very young people and they look like Muslims. And some Muslims, they think it's impossible to communicate with what people call in religions often paradise. It's depending on how people, how much knowledge people have about the universe, about the symbiosis and the nature in general, and of course how much knowledge they have about that specific topic regarding knowledge. Okay, so just that you know. So so it's important to be clear. They do know now what's going on here, and Michael is agreeing on it. It's important to be clear, and of course Michael can feel more comfortable if people are sitting under this tree, if they are informed what's going on here, right? Because then he can be sure that the people do not get afraid too easily, or he knows at least that if the people have questions, they can come to me and are going to reply to their questions, and I'm going to explain it to them further. Just that you know that, okay? So I'm checking the camera positions one time and I'm turning it a bit in this direction. It's because then you can see it better. Okay. So here this I'm gonna change also a little bit, that you can see the crown a little bit better. Okay. So it's a little bit loud in the background now, but that's no problem for us. So alright, that was our first video. Is it okay for you if we stop that video? Because it's a very good video. Then we have a good while actually where we could show it to your family, to your friends, to your kids. And he's agreeing on that by triggering the winds in the area over here, which you can see in one camera view now. And can you check the crown for that, because the one camera, the other camera is capturing the crown now, and he's agreeing on that clearly. And now you can see that the wind level is higher as it was before. And so we will stop the first video, which we did produce today in the Rhine hour, and I don't know the specific date at that moment, but it's like I did post on Team Michael Robinson or something was the Facebook page. Yeah, I did post the video which we were capturing during the night time. The problem, because these are cell phone cameras, please use the crown as well, Michael, so that the people can see it. And the down part is very clear, and now he's reacting in the crown as well. Because it was in the night time, it was very difficult to capture the situation, because these are just cell phones. I have no professional cameras with a lot of light, so it's not possible for me to produce clear videos during the nighttime. But as I said in the other video yesterday, was the situation. I was watching the documentation about your dad when you lost your human body, because I think you have been robbed. That was the thing, right? Yeah, by a few people, yes. And he's agreeing on that by triggering the crown. And when I watched the video, it's a documentation from A&E or something serious. So some police stories, some kind of that stuff. Then he contacted me, and well, I understood it in a way that you requested my help to reach your family and friends. And of course I do that if I can, and if creators are trying to be specific and clear like you have been today. That was a very good video. I'm very happy about that. I just can repeat that because it was nearly stress-free for me, beside that little bit running around and changing the camera positions. So thanks a lot for that, and of course I try to help there. And as I said, if your family and friends want to send some questions, or if they have questions for you, I can try to reach you them, and then we can produce another video for your family and friends where you can answer the questions with the same method. They hopefully did understand now, and Michael is agreeing to it in the down part of the tree, and he's gonna agree on that in the crown, and you could see that he's triggering more wind to the crown as well. But can you make it one time clear? Also produce here some wind, please. This tree is also captured by the other camera. Now you see that crown is shaking. Can you shake the crown of both trees a little bit? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, then give me a signal when you want to start, a short second before, and then I'm gonna inform the people which are watching the camera so that they always can ensure it's specific communication. Okay, he's gonna start now to produce wind in both crowns, and then you see both crowns are shaking a bit of both trees, and that's for the family again and to the friends to understand. You can send specific questions, and he will try his best then to answer them in case we can communicate on that day very good and specific, and then you can receive the answers of the questions you maybe have. So Michael, then do some wind for that to agree on that. And now here in the crown you can see again there's more movement, and the crown over here where I requested it, you have to watch closely on a big screen where I'm pointing my finger at. Hopefully you can see that very good. Be more specific, please. Be clear one time in that area here. That will be very great. Now you can see that this crown is shaking, and now he's sending the wind wave to this tree. To be specific, to be very clear for you, the people which are watching the video, and that's why you will see that the crown here in the back is shaking more also of the other plants, and the leaves over here, and the whole tree is shaking. Okay? So and that's how clear the universal communication is working. And thank you very much for such a good video. I'm sure your kids maybe never have seen stuff like that, and they will be really happy that you are still alive, and that that we can send them that live signal, that you did send them that live signal. And I'm sure these are very good news for your family. And I think you had a good family, because I've seen the support website, support Facebook site, and that's great. You can be happy to have such a good family. The father was doing the picture and support stuff. I think that was it. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna produce some wind to say goodbye, and then I'm gonna end this first video with him during the daytime to have some space left on my cell phones to maybe produce more videos. Thank you very much for watching. Michael Robinson and Niall Sebastian Power Sieger. Thanks. So hello again, here is Niall from CIembassy.com. I'm working with two cameras to capture the whole forest behind me. And today I'm doing universal communication with Michael Robinson. And as you can see, the forest behind me is very quiet. So the leaves and the trees are not moving. So there's not much wind at the moment. And the creator who have lived as the man Michael Robinson will show you that he can use wind to communicate. And we're gonna add this to another video for his family as well. And he will use the complete surrounding in the park where I am and the Rheinau in Bonn. I'm going to show you the surrounding later by turning the camera around. But for the moment, I'm going to start my universal communication for that part of the video with him. And he's going to trigger the wind. And then all the trees you see in the cameras, the whole area, there will be more wind. And he will canalize the wind and trigger the wind clearly to show the people how it works and on what kind of big scale he can practice universal communication by controlling the natural environment. So Michael, please start to shake the crowns of the trees behind me and the crowns over there and start to produce more wind in the whole area. And I explained to the people also what they see. You see now that all these crowns do start to shake. You see that all these crowns moving more. You see that the whole area there is more wind canalized. Please use also that part of the forest and the area back there. That would be very great to Michael. And he's gonna send the wind waves through the forest. And right now you can see over here that more wind is triggered as well. And much more wind is used. That's why this whole place is now very windy, which was quiet before. Also for the family and friends to understand that. So that's controlling of the natural environment by a creator who have lived as a human before. His name is Michael Robinson, and he's showing you by practicing that universal communication. It's typical ancestors communication. This video will be published separate to inform people about universal communication, and it will be added to another video for his family and his friends, where we did produce another video today before we just started this one. And with this video he can show it to his family and friends on a bigger scale, because before we were using a few trees and a part of the area, a part of the forest for a short moment, and right now we are showing it with the complete area. So Michael Robinson is showing it by canalizing the wind and triggering the wind in the whole area. I'm gonna communicate with Michael Robinson now. Please reduce the wind level again so that the forest do become a little bit more quiet. I'm gonna move the one camera a bit that you can see the part of the forest better we are using at the moment. And now I give him a moment so he will reduce the wind level. And when the wind level is reduced, you see the trees become quiet again. That's what you see behind me in the whole area. So I give him a moment because it's a huge area, you see. And right now you can see this area is quiet again. The wind level is reduced again. And you can see it's quiet. And now Michael Robinson, please start again to produce more wind in the whole area behind me, so that the forest will start to shake again, so the leaves of the trees. And you see here where my hand is that the whole area starts to shake. The whole area here is already triggered with wind, and the trees do start to move. And now I go over to the other side here of the huge forest. Please trigger the wind also in the trees over here, so that the crowns on that part of the forest do also start to shake. And for the family and friends, you can see here already that the wind is canalized, and the wind is canalized here as well. So try to shake all the crowns in the whole area, please. And I just let you do that for a moment. So for the family and friends, I let him canalize the wind for a moment, and then you will have more movement in the complete forest area. So in the area over here, it is very good. You can see in the one camera. And now I go over to the other camera. Michael Robinson, can you produce more wind in this area, please, also? And now you see here where my finger is pointing that the crowns of the tree do start to shake again, and he's producing more wind in the area over here. Now you can see how clearly he's reacting to my request, and he's triggering the wind clearly, and that's why you can see the wind wave now in this area. So Michael Robinson will reduce the wind level now, and we just wanted to show that as well. And he's gonna trigger the wind again in a wave. Look at this in the area over here. Look at that now, and he will canalize the wind to the whole forest. So he's canalizing the wind from the area over here and bringing it into the forest over there. Look at this. Look at the trees, how they move now. Exactly as it was requested. So that's very good. That's something they can see very good on the cameras in the video later. That's what I mean. Because these are just cell phone cameras. I explained that before. So that was Michael Robinson, the creator who have lived as the man. And the video gonna be very long altogether. My name is Niall Sebastian Power Sieger. Here we just demonstrated to use wind on a huge scale. So Michael Robinson demonstrated that because he's the creator who's canalizing the wind and using the wind and the natural environment to show himself to the public, to his family and friends, to communicate. And with this, he also helped to inform other people which are watching the videos on ciembassy.com about universal communication. So thank you for that as well. Thanks for the people which are interested in universal communication that you showed them that. The scale is very big. If I walk through that area, I can do that later, and I'm gonna film that for you with one camera. So I'm gonna walk through the area, and then maybe Michael gonna produce some wind again. We're gonna try that, and hopefully you get good video material from there then as well. If not, I'm just gonna walk through the park so that you understand how big that is. So great. Thank you very much for doing that to Michael Robinson. And I'm looking over here, and the people can see his clear reaction. We showed in the video before how universal communication is working. He's communicating with me in that way that he heard the thanks I just said, and that he's happy as well to help others to understand universal communication, and that his family and friends do receive good video material, right? And now you can see he's triggering the wind and bringing it to the middle and now over to the other side of this forest. So next part will follow. We're gonna walk through the forest. This is the next part of the video with the creator who have lived as a man before, Michael Robinson. And we have produced some parts you're gonna see all together, hopefully. I'm gonna add them all one after the other. And right now we are in the forest area, which he have used in the other part of the video. I'm gonna show you where we have been before from here. That's the lake, and we have been on the other side of the lake, okay? And over here, I'm gonna walk around for a second. Over here is the tree we have used before. So hopefully you can see that, right? These were the plants we have used before for universal communication, so Michael Robinson have used. Right now we are here in the huge forest where you can see the video material which he have used to show you, the people, how much wind he can use and on what kind of big scale he can use it. So behind me you have that forest area I can walk with him through, and during I'm walking through the forest he can practice universal communication with me, and that's what we wanted to show to the family and friends of Michael Robinson, and to the people which are visiting siaembassy.com to inform themselves about universal communication. I'm gonna change one camera a bit, the position, so that you can see the crowns in the area over here very well. So there's a tree. This tree is standing right directly next to me, and you could see it was quiet before, and he's gonna start to trigger the wind now, so that the leaves will start to move more, and hopefully you can hear a bit the sound of the forest when Michael Robinson is canalizing the wind for universal communication purpose, for his family, friends, and for the public. So Michael, if you want to start. For the people which are watching the video, in one camera you can see now the crown of one tree here beside me, and he's using that crown to produce wind. And at this moment in time, the people which are watching the other view can see how the leaves are shaking in the crown of the tree. So, and that's the same method he have used to show himself from the other side of the river.